Hi, guys, and welcome to the Women's Health Summit, where you are gaining clarity so you can lead with confidence and finally turn that passion into profit. I'm Laura Sherrill, a high-performance women's health coach and the founder of Balanced Bombshells, and today I'm here with Briena, who is an award-winning photographer and creator of the Wellness Stock Shop, where she's got this beautiful website filled with beautiful photos for the health and wellness influencers. And I'm just so excited, Briena, to chat with you today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's such an honor.
So the first question I'd love to be asking women is how you got started in your business and why.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll try to keep this short. Well, the background is that I've always been very interested in natural wellness. And I actually have an aunt who is a naturopath, and I always thought I was going to go in that direction and go to Bastyr University and be in that space. But as it goes, I got off track and I became a big traveler, and I was always kind of trying to figure out, where is my place? What do I really want to be doing? And then I kind of got to this point where it was like, oh, it's obvious. I want to be a photographer. I bring my camera everywhere I go when I'm traveling. But usually what happens with photographers is they get funneled into shooting weddings and also portraits, which is exactly what happened to me. And so one day I had been in that, and I actually shot for the biggest wedding photography studio in Portland. And they did end up sending me around the world to shoot weddings in Jamaica and Mexico and all over the place, which was awesome, but it wasn't in alignment with what I really wanted. I just didn't have any passion behind it. And so I found myself in this place. I remember it was a cold, rainy October day, and I woke up and I was totally depressed. And I was winning awards for my photography. I was really successful in some sense, but I just was not in alignment with myself. And so I don't know about you, but journaling is a really great way for me to connect with myself. And so I just started mind dumping, and it just came out. I just wrote right there on that day, I don't want to be a portrait photographer. I want to start a stock photo site for natural wellness to support these people and this industry that I so deeply believe in. And so I closed down my portrait studio on that day and set out to create. I know it's kind of crazy, but
I love
it. And just a little bit more information. I mean, I'm very much into essential oils and all sorts of stuff. And I did have branding clients who were health coaches, massage therapists, spa owners. So I was creating imagery for them, but I didn't see it as sustainable because it costs so much to hire a professional photographer to do a branding shoot. And so I wanted to actually provide a resource that was more affordable for people to be able to tap into professional imagery. Because, I mean, let's be honest, in this country, so many people are just swayed by big pharma and Western medicine.
Oh, yeah.
So to gain credibility as a wellness professional, you need to show up looking professional, and you need to have the type of appearance that will gain the trust of people so that they'll actually be interested in checking you out and feel safe. And so that all just came in together. It just seemed so obvious to me. And at one point, I was actually going to enroll to become a health coach myself. And it just was like, it makes so much more sense to use this skill that I already have to support people out there. I feel like that can make a bigger difference.
Yeah, I love that. Just how you were taking like your passions and like really listening to your intuition of like, yeah, I'm good at what I'm doing. Yes, I'm succeeding, and I could certainly go down that path, but my heart is guiding me somewhere else. So you're actually talking to a lot of women who are either on that journey or have been through that journey. So it's just, I'm not surprised that like we would then connect that way too, because I feel like the universe like brings people together in the way in which we need them to be. So
yeah. And for me, that's such an important message, because I do see so many women just feeling like they have to conform to this way of doing this certain thing. And so for me to actually step out of portraiture and to launch a stock photo site, and I mean, no one had there was no stock photo site for natural wellness in
Right.
existence.
I honestly
And
have not seen one until I landed on your website, and I was like, what? Like, because like you're also talking to a lot of women who are really into the natural wellness and how can we be helping other women feel what that feels like. And what's so interesting about your work too is not only you bringing like the imagery, but you're also helping people like come up with their brand strategy and their colors and their theme, which is super crucial and important, but also adding in your passion for health and wellness by creating photos that actually can teach people about health and wellness. So like you're kind of like a one-stop shop for a lot of branding and taking it off like the entrepreneur's plate, and you're being like, here's what I excel in, here's what I'm really good at, and I can package it up and make it look beautiful, because like not everyone excels in that, you know.
yeah, I mean, it's hard and it can be overwhelming. And I mean, as a business owner, you start your business thinking, this is what I want to do. I want to be coaching people on their health and wellness, or, you know, teaching them yoga or meditation. But when you actually launch your own business, you have to be
It's a
so many
lot. Yeah.
more things. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. You're a business owner first,
Yeah.
and then a professional at whatever you do second. So that is definitely a goal for me, is trying to take some of that off of their plate so that it just releases some of that overwhelm and they don't have to think about it so much. I'm really trying to do a lot more of the done for you type stuff.
Yeah. Which I think too goes really into what you were looking for, was the sustainability and like growth portion too, because like there's so much of your time in terms of creating the content, coaching clients and creating content for them, but like you've been able to set up something where it's very sustainable for your growth. So I mean, as entrepreneurs, especially as women, we have to pay attention to our stress levels. I teach women all about their hormones and just like how can you understand what is going on within your body and just not adding to the stress. Like outsourcing, I think is like so important. So I love that you created something that feels really good for the people coming into it, but then also for you, so that you have the security and the space that you need for yourself as well.
Yeah, thank you. It's really been, I mean, honestly, if I think about it, if I mean, giving anyone advice for their business, creating a way to put stuff online so that it is automated as much as possible, and then having, you know, more multiple streams of income. It has been, I mean, it's totally changed my life. And not only for financial stability, and not only for taking some of that stress off, not having to be there one-on-one, you know, making money hourly, but also knowing that I'm able to help so many more people.
Yes.
And I think that's a really great message for anybody.
Yeah, I love that, because I felt like that when I first started coaching. I was like, okay, I can help like one woman at a time, but what else can I do that can help even more women? So I had created like an automated online course that women could take, which is like super like hot market right now as well. And so it just felt really good, because not everyone wants to pay the big ticket price for a one-on-one program and what that entails. Some people want to be able to just go through it on their own and have something that is a little bit more budget friendly, but then you're able to help so many more people. And like now's the best time to also bring your business online. Like what we've been seeing over the past few years is like everyone recognizing the potential and like using it in their own different and unique ways. But then it's so fun to connect with other entrepreneurs too in this space, because I think so many people are doing something different. And how can we also like support each other's work? You know, like you're an entrepreneur helping other entrepreneurs, but it's like it just all comes together, which I think is really nice.
Yeah, I love that. And I love just the sense of, yeah, women supporting women and just the collaboration in general. Actually, my business is really built quite a bit on that, on women supporting women and the collaboration part, because the women who actually model for me in photos are not professional models.
Mm.
And that's for several reasons. One is I want the photos to be real. I want them to be realistic, but I also want to work with real practitioners, because I want any photo that goes to represent a massage therapist or an acupuncture to actually be accurate to their profession. And it allows me a way to actually support these women by, I actually gift them all the photos. So if they model for me, I gift them the photos. So it's like an an incredible value for them to have photos of themselves that they get to use. I mean, they would have paid thousands of dollars for it if they had had, you know, a professional brand designer. So it's just this really beautiful, I don't know, it's my dream situation. It's my dream.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm all about women like following their dreams, because I know how hard, like I was in professional fundraising before I started teaching women's health, and like I was really good at it. So I did a lot of events. I did a lot of like corporate sponsorships. It kept rising, and that's why you kind of like stay in it, because you're like, well, I'm excelling in it. But my heart, like the same as you, I just felt something's not right. I'm not in the right space. Yes, I can do this, but I can also take the skill set that I learned in this space, and I can pivot and do something that I think is more aligned with my passions and my goals and my dreams. And I've used so many of the lessons that I learned in that past career to running a business now. So it's not like you ever make a misstep. Like sometimes we need to learn those lessons in a different way. But so kind of how you were saying on journaling. So I'm obsessed with journaling because I think it connects the head and the heart so much, and you can really dive into what you're meant to do. So I just love your story and how you were just writing and it like came out, because you, especially what you do, flow writing, where you just like dump your brains on the page,
Exactly.
your thoughts on the page.
Yeah, I just call it mind dumping. I just start writing and I don't think about it. I just dump it all out, and I get these amazing messages from myself that clearly I've already known, but I wasn't really aware of.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
And so, I always have my clients do flow writing during their period, because during our period, our right and left brain hemispheres are the most aligned. So it's like the time in the month where you can actually access like what you truly desire. And like, you can see how it all kind of comes together a little bit, versus at other times of the month, we're kind of resisting and fighting against ourselves a little bit. So the flow writing too, it just kind of turns your brain off and allows kind of like, I guess you're high. I'm assuming you're like a very spiritual person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like it's like your higher self coming through the page.
Yeah. That's fascinating. I didn't know that. Now I'm going to try that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So I can usually tell when women are about to get their period. You can just kind of tell a few of their emotions, a few of our thought patterns, and everything becomes like really consistent and predictable. But it's usually like fighting with something internally that we're kind of not acknowledging fully. So like if you notice women, maybe women in your life, where they'll kind of come at you and everything's wrong. They're nitpicking themselves, they're nitpicking their husband, they're nitpicking their job. And it's like, oh, you're meant to like literally turn inward and like pay attention to that, because those little nitpicks are just like, that's not the problem. Like it's in here. You're basically not saying yes to what you truly desire. And our bodies are constantly trying to show us. We're not taught how to listen to that.
Wow, that's fascinating. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. Knowing that you're really into like the naturopath too, and like the spiritual wellness, like our cycles just hold so much power. And like, that's when I knew it was okay to like leave my job, take a leap of faith. Like I was like, I can't see how this is going to come together. I have no idea, but I'm having these strong pulls. So I just resonate so much with what you're saying.
That's amazing. Yeah, I have been really working on that, and that's actually a part of manifesting. You know, if you go through manifesting teachings, is really listening to messages like that, and it's actually, you know, it's yourself, or your higher self or whatever it is actually sending you these messages. And I've had this happen so many times before, but I'll just, you know, brush it off, push it off. But this message is, you know, constantly coming. And so it's really about training yourself to listen to that. Like if you have this coming up over and over again, it's kind of like this ping. It's like this very special message that's being sent to you that you really shouldn't ignore.
Yeah. Well, and I think what usually happens is the message that we're hearing, we either believe it's not for us, or it's scary because we can kind of understand the changes that we're going to have to make. It's really uncomfortable is what usually comes up. So we ignore it because we don't want to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating, because everyone when I talk to, like they feel that on some level, and some are more tapped into not, or versus those who aren't, but it's all accessible. It's basically like when you work out, you're practicing a muscle, like you're working out your muscles, and now you're working out like how to actually honor your intuition and allow it to guide you, even though it's scary and hard.
Yeah, it's true. And another way that I experience that is when I'm going to hire someone or purchase something like a big course.
Yes.
And I've had this, it's like this repeat pattern for me personally over the past, I would say year or 2 years, where I'll be like, okay, this is who I need to invest in. But then I'll have this, like these little messages that are like, no, 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 no,
Mhm.
this isn't right. But I'm so excited and I'm so eager and I'm like, yes, I have to get this. And so I purchase it. And every single time it has been a bad investment.
Mm.
So it's listening to yourself with those things as well, and just letting your intuition tell you, okay, this is someone I should be working with, or
Mhm.
this course would be really great for me. Yeah, it's all about training that muscle.
But not everyone wants to hear that too, because I'm the same way. Like I really tap into myself of like, okay, is this going to serve me? Is this going to help me get to where I'm going? And if I don't feel it, I've really tried to practice enough where I'm saying no, even though it's something you'd want to do. And I just remember the people who are like looking for me to invest in their program, like didn't want to honor that. And I'm like, I'm speaking my truth. Like that's not my problem if like that doesn't work for you, but I'm telling you it doesn't feel good right now. The timing just seems a little off. And that doesn't then mean it's not going to happen later. It's just right now is not the right time.
Yeah, and that's it. I think that is something to actually, I feel like that is when when someone starts pushing you when you're saying no.
Yeah.
That to me is also a very clear sign. Like,
Correct. Because if someone can't honor your boundaries, especially like women, we have a really hard time with our boundaries. So when we actually set them and we get that resistance, like we have to be firm and just know, like, if someone can't respect what I'm saying, that's not my problem. Like that's their problem,
I
basically.
agree
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
So something else I wanted to talk to you about, because I think I was reading one of your blog posts and it was about how to set up your Instagram feed and the importance of visualization, how to kind of change out certain elements. I know women like Instagram and social media is such a hot topic for online business owners. Do you want to talk a little bit about Instagram and maybe share your expertise of like how to set up your feed with imagery and quotes and like how women can be using that to their advantage?
That's such a big topic. Let me see what I can cover.
Yeah.
It is. It's like
Yeah.
the number one question.
Everyone wants to know.
It's so true. How do I design a beautiful feed? And it's number one, I just want to say it's really good that people are asking that question, because it means they understand Instagram is a visual.
Yes. Yes.
Have to have a beautiful feed in order for it to work, unless you already have a big following elsewhere. Like if you're already a
Mhm.
big personality that people know, you're already famous.
Yes.
So it has to be beautiful. And unfortunately, Instagram takes so much time.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be taking your own photos, of course, it's going to take so much more time. So I also want to let you know it is absolutely okay to tap into stock photography. It's a very common thing to do.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who have hesitations around that because they feel like, well, shouldn't I take my own photos? Isn't that inauthentic? And it's just not. And that's with every business. I mean, any business out there is having a photographer take photos for them. And that's actually a big secret for a lot of the influencers that you see. They're using stock photos. So that already is an awesome tool for you.
I do a blend. Like, so I definitely try to do a blend. Like my stationary photos, I have like terrible lighting in the place I live in right now. So like, I know I'm not going to be able to get the best photos. So I do utilize stock photos on some things, but then I do also know that you in the picture can also have a lot of value for your engagement and your audience getting to know you. So I do like a nice blend from what I can do, you know.
Yeah. And you've got to think about like, pay attention when you go to other people's feeds. If you see a beautiful feed, but you don't actually see the person behind it showing up, you feel more of a disconnect.
Yes. Yes.
So I highly recommend tap into stock photos and use that as a resource that allows you to take photos when you feel like it, or, when you have the time. Definitely put selfies in your feed. So I usually say, when you look at Instagram on your phone, you usually see like 9 photos in the grid. So I say, choose 9 different topics. This can make it easy for people. choose 9 different topics that you're going to be posting about regularly and use them like, okay, here's the 9 topics. Now repeat them again. Now repeat them again. And make sure one of those topics is you, either as a selfie or behind the scenes of what you do. People love to see behind the scenes.
Yeah. The Instagram like stories has like taken off because everyone gets to kind of really connect with people. I feel like I go more to the stories now than I do the feed.
A lot of people do. A lot of people are doing that. And so here's a good tip for the difference between what you would post to your feed versus what you would post to Instagram stories. Your feed is much more like, it's got to be beautiful. It's got to be cohesive. It's got to make sense. It's got to let people know what you do immediately when they land there. But the photos have got to look gorgeous. And on Instagram stories is where you can post those photos that aren't so gorgeous. Yes. They're not perfect.
That's what I do. I'll be like, I'll take it myself and I'll kind of lighten it up, but I only ever put it in the stories. And then on my feed, I'm utilizing a blend of stock photos and trying to get me in the photo. So when you talk about like the 9 topics to keep talking about as you move through the feed, do you have a strategy where you like have specific kinds of photos that go with that topic? How do you break it down that way?
So I actually say, and I don't even know, this is not something I made up. Someone else made it up. I've heard it so many different places. But I recommend to my followers to think of your feed like a magazine. Mm-hmm. So I actually want to highlight one big mistake that I see people make a lot.
Absolutely. Okay,
good. Yeah. So I'm just going to use the example of massage therapists because this is an easy example and I see it a lot. Think about what your clients want to see, what your followers want to see. So if you are a massage therapist and if you're just posting photos all of massage therapy or massage therapy tools and stuff like that, you're likely going to just attract other massage therapists because that's who's going to be interested in that. So you've got to think about, and I hear that all the time from people, how I keep attracting other professionals in my field. How do I attract my ideal clients? And that's one of the top tips that I have. You've got to think about what your ideal clients want to see. And a good way to look at this is think about what types of magazines they would look at. Like if they're your ideal client, if you're a massage therapist, if there's a massage therapy magazine, are your followers actually going to pick up that magazine and be interested? No, it's going to be other massage therapists. So they're going to be interested probably in more something that is more well-rounded for wellness. Yeah. So think about the different categories, and you can actually go to an online magazine like, sorry, my mailman's going to be a little bit loud. You can go to an online magazine like Chalkboard magazine or something like that and look at the topics that they're covering. They're covering lifestyle and health tips and food, and they're doing things that are much more well-rounded. And as a massage therapist or whatever you specialize in, you can do the same thing. No doubt you have tips for amazing essential oil bath blends that soothe your muscles, or different types of food ingredients that help to nourish your muscles. I mean, you can talk about all sorts, a whole spectrum of stuff. So don't get stuck on just thinking you have to post massage photos only. Yeah. So that's my tip. And I recommend then with the 9 photos, choosing 9 different topics that would be your magazine topics. Of course, like I said, include something of yourself. So make sure that you have a selfie or behind the scenes as one of your topics. But then you can choose. And if it's hard for you to come up with 9, that's okay. You can come up with 6 and it's totally okay. And it's okay to create topics that are also more brand building. So think about something, for instance, that you deeply believe in, something that you stand for. It could be nature. Maybe you really care about the environment. And so you're going to weed in some beautiful nature photos here and there, or sprinkle some of those in. And that actually helps to create a beautiful branded look. And those photos actually create a really nice feeling, and feelings and emotions are what help people to actually connect with your brand. So you actually, that's a good thing. Yeah. And for someone who has, for instance, a skincare business, you could think about incorporating, you know, different herbs or florals that create a beautiful feeling and a branded look. But it also tells the story of what you're actually putting into your products. So it's just get
so
creative.
It's educational.
Think outside the box. And then in addition to that, quotes are definitely an awesome thing to add to your feed. Number one, it's really time saving when you can just grab a quote, and then it's basically, you hardly have to write a caption even, because the quote says it all, or it inspires your caption. And number two, it actually, quotes tend to prompt more engagement, especially if you're using something like a funny quote or something like that, or something insightful. It can really be engagement prompting. Another thing is that you can use quotes to really solidify your brand or help build your brand. So if one of your values of your brand is humor, then you could constantly sprinkle in funny quotes. Or if it has something to, like if you're really insightful, use insightful quotes. So think about how that can actually add to your brand. And then finally, I would say that quotes are really awesome, because usually if you're using quotes with just like a solid color background or white in the background, it can help to break up your feed.
Yes.
And so it's easier, like white space is a good thing.
Yes.
It helps you to relax when you're looking at the feed, and it helps you to actually rest your eye on the photos around the quote. And the most common feed layout is the checkerboard layout. So if someone is struggling, they can easily just do photo quote, photo quote, photo quote. So it designs a really consistent look.
Well, I think too, quotes, like, so at least with Instagram, if we're going to talk about that platform, it also gives you shareable content from your audience, which can then help drive organic traffic to your page as well. I've heard that a lot with quotes, of like really trying to make sure that you're also creating like shareable content, and quotes is like one of those big things, especially when you're connecting with your audience who's like, it's an extension of you, you know, like I think every woman starts a business to help someone along from a part of their journey that they were able to excel on.
Definitely.
So like your clients or your audience is a piece of you. So they're going to love that. They're going to be like, haha, that was so funny. And then like put it in their stories or something to share. So it's just kind of nice how you can not only be doing this to help engage, but then also grow as a business owner as well.
Yeah. It's just good all around. I think it's a really good strategy to have.
Yeah. And if anyone is sitting here thinking like, I don't know what this branded look means, I'm going to have your website below so everyone can go check it out, because your photos, I like landed on your website and I was like, it was like a breath of fresh air where you're just kind of like, oh, this just is so beautiful. I love going through these photos. Like it was just a nice place that you want to hang out in, which then goes into what people's social media feeds are going to be, which then builds that know, like, and trust factor, which then closes and converts sales. So yeah. So if anyone's like, I don't know what this looks like, you have so many beautiful photos on your website that people can go check out.
Thank you. Yeah. The nice thing is that because all the photos, at least at this point, are taken by the same photographer, they're all cohesive also. They all instantly look beautiful together. So if anyone's struggling to design a beautiful feed, it makes it really easy for them.
Yeah. And so I also noticed that you do, like, not only do you do photography stuff, but you also have a lot of information on like brand kits and a brand course to help people even understand what their style is going to be, which I love because it took me like 3 years to figure that out. You just stumble along the way, like, you know, it takes a while. So do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So I was in the same boat and I didn't really understand what branding meant or how to connect it. And forever, I wasted so much money on 2 different designers, because I went to them really, I was confused on who I was serving and what I wanted. And so when I figured this all out, and I realized that's what a lot of people are struggling with, I made this course. It's a DIY quick start course. You can really get through it in a weekend if you want to, but it's packed full of information, but it's step by step. So it's really easy training. And honestly, I designed it so that either you can design your own brand, or you can take that and then go to your designer with this understanding, like, of what you actually want. And it's going to help so much, because I feel like so many people go straight to a designer and it ends up wasting thousands of dollars because they're not really clear on what a brand is, or how to understand all the elements that go into it. And so it's just, in my opinion, it's something that everyone should take no matter what. And it's also something that's really helpful if you're struggling to design a beautiful branded Instagram feed or a beautiful branded product or campaign. So it really does start from the very foundation. And I feel like that's what a lot of people are disconnected from, is that they immediately think, oh, well, shouldn't I just choose my favorite colors? Or isn't my branding, I mean, isn't it just a logo? And then they start with their logo, which is the wrong thing to do. You've got to get everything else figured out first. And so I designed it to really get to the root of your foundation of really the emotional aspects of your business, and knowing, who it is that you serve, who you're trying to attract, because you really want to create your brand not only based on something that really resembles you and what you offer, but also what is going to attract the people that you want to be attracting, because the way to attract them is to become attractive to them. So
Correct.
yeah, it's a really great course and people love it. And luckily I've been able to keep it at a nice low price point too, to just help anyone out. And yeah, it's pretty great.
I think it's great too, because like I tried doing some of that when I first got started, and then found myself doing it after like 2 years of business. So like you kind of, even as you're going through your growth moments of getting your sea legs basically and kind of figuring out what your brand's going to be, you can also come back to it too and be like, do I need to refresh? Has anything that I've gone through changed and evolved that might need to change and evolve how I'm showing up through your communication, through your brand? But yeah, I've noticed a lot of people will pick their favorite colors and they don't always blend well together. So I'm obsessed with branding. So I was just really excited to chat with you because my background is in marketing. So like the colors and how they come together, like they truly need to be on purpose, basically. Even your fonts and all that stuff.
And that's the thing, is that I realize this. I don't think that anyone, if you don't have an eye for visuals, I don't think you should be choosing your own branding colors and piecing them together. So I made sure to design the course in a way that if you want to have that much control, you can. I'll teach you how to choose all of your colors. But you also have the option of going to these different resources and choosing color palettes and font pairings that are already created for you by professionals. So it ends up being just like so much. I mean, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on a brand designer, which I think you should once you get to the point in your business.
But not when you're first starting.
Not when you're first starting, because you're going to change. Your idea is going to change. Your direction is going to change. Your product offerings are going to change. You're going to have so much more confidence and such a better idea and understanding of who you're serving and what specifically you're offering. And so you just have to understand that in the beginning, you're going to be changing a lot. It's okay to change your branding along the way. And in fact,
I did.
But hold off. Don't go straight to the brand designer. Save that money and invest it in other things, but still make sure that you have a beautiful professional look to release out to the world.
Yeah. So that's why I thought it was so cool that like, not only are you helping provide like images people can use, but then you're also helping them with like their brand colors, their fonts that they can be using on their downloadable guides or any sort of programs that they're doing, because like it really is important for your clients or your end users to see a cohesive look, because they're going to get that same feeling with you, because we're not necessarily in the realm of going into a massage parlor every day, or going into, like, most people are not meeting with their health coach in person. So like every single piece of you they get, from an email to a PDF to following you on Instagram, it has to be really blended well. And I just love that you had all those resources that like brought it all together. Yeah, I haven't seen other businesses like it. So that's why I was so excited to chat with you too, because you had so many different layers of what you offer.
Oh, yay. That's awesome feedback for me. Thank you.
Yeah. So I know you have a freebie for everyone that I thought was so exciting. So I don't know if you want to chat about that for a moment.
Yeah, well, I offer a free photo every single month. So for anyone who joins my email list, it's a great way to stay connected. I also send out additional stuff. You know, you'll be on the special list when I have any promos going, or I'm sending out additional freebies. I am a giver and I love to shower my list with special things. But yeah, you can sign up and download a free photo right away. And then I'll send you a new photo every single month. And I really maintain simple usage rights. So I feel like a lot of people get a bit confused as to what can they use stock photos for. And all stock photos are different. I make sure that you can use the photos in every way that you need to. So you can use the photos on Facebook, your website, Instagram, ebooks, your printed marketing material, your online courses, your webinars.
Yeah.
So I always like to send that message to people, because I never want anyone to feel hesitant about using any photo. I designed it so that you can help to grow your brand and get the word out there.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. And I think it just goes so much into, like, I could even feel that on your website, that it was just like, you put so much thought and consideration and truly love the work that you do and the women that you serve every single day. So I'll have the link below for anyone who wants to grab that free photo every single month. So it's not like you get one free photo, you get one every single month, which I think is so valuable.
Every month. Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining us today and just being open to chat about Instagram and just branding and the importance of looking good online.
Absolutely. I could talk about this forever.
All right. Well, we'll chat soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.